Maybe it isn't. We'll figure out. We'll find it out. Okay, so if you want to follow me along on that link and just click that button here on the bottom right, then you also can see what is happening. Does that disappear immediately? Okay, I can confirm it. Now, you'll see several things on the screen here, and we'll go through them one by one. First of all, this is the dealer marker. It signifies who is the first dealer. It will remain in its position for the entire round. Each round consists of, in the way we're playing here, of 8 hands, some of which may be repeated. So we will start with him in the east. East always starts. East is the most important position. And this is the symbol for east. And so we start in the east round. We start in the first east round. That's why there is an east and a 1 symbol here. Now, he is the dealer, so he gets to throw the dice, which determines where the wall gets broken. Now, you don't see the much of the remaining part of the wall here. Oh, there's actually perfect. But you do see like everyone's hands. Well, you only see my hand, but you see that everyone has their hand of 13 tiles, and then he was the dealer, so he goes first. He picked a piece and he discarded a piece or a tile. Let me see if I can zoom in a little more. And then move that maybe slightly to the right. Ah, but that's annoying there then. That over here. And then just put like here. There we go. I think that's fine. Okay. So, let's take a look at our hand. We have, in the 3 suits, the number tiles, or the mun tiles, the pin tiles, or the circle tiles, and the bamboo tiles, or the sword tiles. Remember that this is the bamboo one. We also have a pair of Seatwinds. And over here we see the tile we last picked, which is another mun tile. Let's go through the tiles once more, and now counting what they actually are. So we have a 4, a 6, and a 7 of mun, and a 9 and another 9. We have a 6 and an 8 of circles, a 1 of bamboo, 2, 3, 4 of bamboo, and a 6 of bamboo, and 2 Seatwinds. Now, every player has a position, depending on which position, has a wind depending on which position he's sitting in. So, the dealer is always east. The dealer is signified by where the dice lie. While he is the first dealer, the dealer will move on, but this plaque will remain. So this signifies the first dealer. So these dice say that he is the dealer. The dealer is east, and then counterclockwise, we move on east, south, west, north. Now you're saying, hang on, that's upside down, that's mirrored, and that's correct. And there are several different historical explanations on why that is like that, but we will not focus on that. I can talk about that later, maybe. Now, hang on. Igiari. Right. So, if he's east, that means we are south. And we have a pair of Seatwinds. That is good. But we don't know why that is good yet. We'll get to explore why that is good later. There are actually 2 ways to make a pattern in your hand. Number 1 is to pick a piece and discard a piece, right? And by picking a piece, you hope that you get a good piece that you can put into your hand, and then discard a piece that you don't want in your hand. The other way is by calling something that someone else has discarded. That means if someone were to discard a south wind now, and I have 2 of them, I can call that and have a triplet like that. It also means that it's my turn, because I picked up a piece. Right. So, we picked up the 9. We have 4, 6, and 7 here. 6 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. What would you guys discard here? I know what I would discard. So, obviously, the 2 south winds we want to keep. The 2 9s, if we want to make this into a triplet, then we still need a pair. So the 2 9s are actually a quite decent pair to have. And who knows, it might turn into a triplet on its own. The 1, 2, 3, 4 we definitely do not want to break apart. And if we get a 5, then it turns into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's also good. So we don't want to get rid of those. We have 4 and 6, which... we have 6 and 8, which can turn into 6, 7, 8 as a sequence. Doesn't have to. This is generally an interesting initial hand. So this is kind of weak, but it's like there is inspiration for a possible pattern there. We don't want to discard the 2 9s, as I said before, because they are a good chance for a pair. And then we have 4, 6, and 7. And this is where it gets a bit more easier to rank what is important and what is not. Remember, 4 and 6 can form a sequence only with the 5 in the middle. But 6 and 7 can make a sequence with both a 5 at the beginning or with an 8 at the top. Right? So we can have 5, 6, 7 or 6, 7, 8. Therefore, in my opinion, the tile that fits least into this hand would be the Mun 4 here. So we're going to discard the Mun 4. The 9 will go into our hand. I'm not going to talk about Yakus just yet. Alright, let's see what happened. He discarded an East Wind. He discarded, they discarded a Bamboo 9. And they discarded a Mun 1. A number 1. We picked up a West Wind. Now, the West Wind is completely useless to us. Depending on how aggressive or defensive you play, you might want to keep track of the to keep the West Wind. And also, depending on which rule set you play, whether you're playing Sakizuke or Artozuke, which I'm not going to go into, you might especially not want to discard this. But for now, we'll discard this, because we're going to be aggressive. Now, this piece is blinking because we have an option down here. This says Chii. Chii is a called sequence. Now, this is a Bamboo 1, and we have Bamboo 2 and 3, so we could call this one and complete it with this 2 and 3 into a sequence of 1, 2, 3. Now hang on, why couldn't you do this with the Bamboo 2? Because you could have called the Bamboo 2 into a sequence of 2, 3, 4, right? Ah, no, because sequences can only be called from the left, right? So only, don't throw the word right in there. So sequences only from the left, triples from everywhere. But we don't, the problem with calling tiles instead of, yo, hey Dave! The problem with calling tiles instead of, also, since this is the introduction tutorial, this will be longer than just 30 minutes. So, if we want to call this tile, are you writing all of this down? You don't have to, because it will be released as a VOD. Then that means that this will be fixed, right? We promise to use that and not throw it away. And the only way that we can actually promise that is by opening our hand. That means that we will take this and the 2 and the 3, and we will permanently display them at the side of our hand open. Know how these are all standing and are therefore closed, but if something is called, it is open. And you can see them. Everyone can see them. It also means that our hand is open and therefore less valuable. So we're going to skip. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that nice? We got our third south wind. That is a triplet of Southwinds, which is a fairly nice pattern indeed. Now we have to make a really, really difficult decision. So... I want to sleep at 4 and set my alarm to make it for I went to sleep at 4 and set my alarm to make it for the stream. Yes, but the stream started half an hour earlier. I'm terribly sorry if you missed that first part. That means you also missed how these work. So let me just run in a quick recap. 3 suits as opposed to the 4 in traditional card games. We have the number tiles, the pin tiles, and the bamboo tiles. These are Chinese characters, so it's 6, 7, 9, 9. They're all between 1 and 9. So this is the circles 6, circles 8, self-explanatory because that's the number of circles on them. Bamboo 2, 3, 4, 6. This is the bamboo 1. Bamboo 1 is a sparrow. In Chinese, Mahjong, so therefore Mahjong. These are the Southwinds. There's other than these 3 suits, there's also winds and dragons. So there's 4 winds, east, south, northwest, and 3 dragons, red, green, and white. Now, we picked up the Southwind, making it a triplet. We need 1 pair, and the rest has to be triplets and sequences. We have a triplet here. We have a pair here. This is promising to become a sequence. This could become 2 sequences. This can become 1 sequence. I am going to discard this 8 for reasons that might become obvious later. Alright, he discarded a pin 2, he discarded a green dragon, and they discarded a bamboo 3. We could call this into a sequence, but I really don't want to. And as fate has it, we picked up another 8. We'll just throw it away again. Ooh! Now it's interesting. If you are 1 piece away from a full complete hand, meaning if all you need to do is throw 1 bad tile away, and then with the next correct tile you pick, have a complete hand, and your hand is closed, then you are in Tenpai. And Tenpai means one away from winning. If you have a closed hand and are in Tenpai, what you can do is you can promise to never change your hand again, and just only discard and pick up until you win, or until the number of tiles is depleted. How you do that is you declare Reach by saying Reach or Riichi, putting 1000 points in the middle of the table, and making that discard turn sideways. There are several reasons to do that. We're not going to go into them right now. It just means that this hand is now dangerous. This player is now dangerous. We have picked up a north piece. This should be safe. Now, I'm saying safe because if he is aggressive and he has a good hand, we don't want to deal into his hand. Because here's an interesting thing about the way Japanese Mahjong works. If he picks the winning tile itself, then the value of the hand is paid out and we have to pay him. If he picks it himself, we all 3 have to pay. If someone discards the tile that he needed, then that player who discarded pays all of it. So, in general, the shares are 1, 1, 2. The dealer pays double. If the dealer wins, it's 2, 2, 2. The dealer gets double. And on a direct hit, it's just the triple value, which is actually the base value. Right. We're going to hope that he doesn't want north, because it's east, south, west, north. So it's unlikely that he's going for north. Ooh! Look at that. Very interesting. Very sneaky. So he discarded a 5 of Man, and he called Ron. Ron is the winning shout, if you will. This means that he was also in Tenpai, but he didn't declare Reach. No, he was silent. So he kind of didn't tell anyone that he was actually also just waiting for another piece. And he threw a piece, And that's the last piece that he wanted, and that means he wins. The dealer wins. He will now open his hand and show us what he had. So let's take a look. Ooh. Ah. Okay. So, what we can see immediately is a triplet of green dragons. What we can also see is a sequence 2, 3, 4 of circles. And we can see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of bamboo. Right? So we have one triplet, 3 sequences, and he called this pair. So actually he didn't even have a pair to begin with, but he was just ready for this pair. Right? So this is the 14th tile that he gets, and therefore completes his hand and wins. The problem is, you cannot win with every hand. Just because you have your patterns of 3, 3, 3 and a pair does not mean you can win. That is because you need a winning condition. And this is the part where the game gets much more complicated, sadly. We will go through this entire double round and slowly work our way through the winning conditions, or Yaku, that we see. The good thing is that every winning condition, Pogli, increases the value of your hand. In fact, it multiplies the value of your hand by at least 2 in most cases. So, the winning condition that this player has is a triplet of dragons. Every triplet of dragons is a winning condition. If you have a pair of dragons, that is not a winning condition. If you have one of each dragons, that's absolutely nothing. That doesn't exist. That's not a thing. Although people will try. A triplet of winds can be a winning condition in 2 circumstances. We are currently in the east round, and our position is south. East round signified by the dealer marker being in the east position. If you flip that over, it will be the south position. So, if anyone currently has a triplet of east winds, it is also a winning condition for them. If they have a triplet of south winds, it will not be a winning condition for them, but it will be for us because we are south. If the dealer, who is both east in the east round, has a triplet of easts, it counts double. Alright, so now let's quickly go through the essentials of point counting. There are... does he get Ura? No, he doesn't. Because he's not in reach, of course. Okay, so this means Yakuhai, which is the triplet of... So only your own wins regardless. And the round wind. If we are an east round... Right. For the east player, only his own win. But in the south round, the dealer will still be east. So in the south round, it's actually the south player who has the doubled Yaku. If he gets a triplet of south. Right. So, there are 2 point categories. There's Minipoints and there's Han. I should have not mixed those. There is Minipoints and there's Multipliers, also known as Fu and Han. The Fu mostly come from triplets. In here, we have a concealed triplets of so-called honor pieces. The honor pieces are dragons and winds and terminals also increase more value, but for now these are honors, so it's a closed pawn of honors, which is worth 8 fu. Yes, please continue to ask questions. I'm happy to answer them. You always begin, every hand that is finished begins with 20 fu, right? So, Right, that should be it. Okay, so... Oh, okay. It's exactly 40, isn't it? If someone can confirm in chat that this is exactly 40. So he starts with 20 fu, 20 mini points. He then gets 8 from this triplet. He also gets 10 for winning on a discard with a closed hand. And he gets another 2 for waiting on a pair, which leaves us with exactly 40. Now, if he had 42, that would be rounded up to 50, because you always round up to the nearest tenner. Of course, 40 itself is already a 10, so it remains as 40. And then you look up in this crazy table what 41 means, or you calculate it, whichever you do. This is 2,000 points. And as we remember, this player discarded the 5, so he needs to pay 2,000 points to him, to the dealer. I was wondering why it was so expensive, because it's really only 140, but he's dealer, so he gets double. Also, remember how this person sacrificed 1,000 points here to promise not to change his hand anymore, and thereby also gaining a Yaku. These 1,000 points also go to the winner. So in total, he will receive 3,000 points, and the score total will go up to 28. There we go. He loses 2,000, so it goes from 25 to 23, and he loses the 1,000 which he sacrificed, so he goes from 25 to 24. That means that the dealer remains dealer. If the dealer wins, or more precisely, if the dealer doesn't lose in a draw, he remains dealer. Whenever a dealer remains dealer, the round is not chained. So we are still in the first East round. East 1. To signify that, we will put 100 points piece as a counter. That is just an indicator. That is just to show we are in the first repetition of the first East round.